Okay. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Graybeard Astrology channel again. If you're new, or if you'd care to, hit the subscribe button and like button. I'd really appreciate it. Really nice. Today we're going to be talking about the temperaments in astrology. I think it's a kind of a little subject, a building block that's kind of ignored. I know I learned a lot putting this together. Just going to go through the basics right now. I will probably make a second video because this subject it can go on and on. It's like everything else in astrology, right? So the history of temperament is an ancient psychology. It was known as the mixtures of the elements in the body. So the meaning of temperament comes from a Latin word said as temperamentum. I can't pronounce it. It's there. It was a proper mixture or balance. The Greeks defined it as a mixture of qualities in the body and the psyche. The four qualities or the four elements or the four humors, hot and cold and moist and dry. It was a 2,000-year-old medical practice that lasted up until the 19th century. It goes all the way back to Greek civilization. This doctrine was subscribed by Hippocrates and Ptolemy and Galen, all the way up through the medieval times. In the Renaissance times with William Lilly, a very popular astrologer of the Renaissance times. I believe it's still used in traditional astrology today, as well as medical astrology, and I'm sure alternative medicine practices. It was taught that the health depended upon the balancing of the four primary bodily fluids known as the four cardinal humors. The blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. When imbalanced, these four humors were believed to cause illness and shape a person's temperament. The phrase an ill-balanced temper or a bad temper is kind of where these words came from. Even the word humor, the humors, over the hundreds of years, that's where the word humor as we know it, comedy humor. It was a balance of tempers, an equilibrium of health, or an imbalance was illness and bad traits. So that's where the premise comes from. Now, the tempers themselves, so we're going to kind of take a little thinking here. So we have what we're talking about here is there's temperament, there's personality, and then there's character. And the temperament, it's believed that was an innate quality or a fixed part of your personality. Your personality was your temperament plus external factors. And then your character is your innate qualities and your moral side. So what they're trying to say with temperament is that there's an actual temperament that you're born with. The Greeks called it a stamp or impression. External forces, society, and parents shaped your character and your personality, but your temperament was purely an internal, born with innate quality. The primary qualities are active and passive. There's two active qualities or elements, hot and cold. And then there's two passive elements, moist and dry. Active initiate change, and the passive are more structural. Hot is energetic and masculinely extrovert. And cold is contracting, receptive, and feminine. Now the passive qualities, moisture, is adaptable, connective, cohesive, and feminine or receptive. And dry is masculine. It's structural, it's resistant, it's brittle and rigid. Everything in the universe is made of opposing forces, light and day, and night, hot and cold, and active and passive. The formation of the elements is a centrifugal force or an impulse moving away from the center. That's an active force. The passive ones are a centripetal force or motion. It's a right angle, inward moving, an apparent force. So there's actual force and apparent force. How hot and cold create moist and dry. Hot plus cold interact and create moisture like the morning dew. Hot and cold interact and create dry, like if something is drying in the sun. Once again, moisture is adaptable and dry is resistant. So you can see how we have the masculine qualities on the top here. On the bottom, we have a receptive qualities, earth and water. One is active and one is passive. And then on the right, those two share a quality. On the left, those two share a quality. So hot and dry equal fire, expansive and radiant, masculine and outward. Air, or hot and moist, equal air. It's adaptable and dynamic. Cold and dry equal earth. It's contracting and hard and inward and receptive. Cold and moist equal water. It's dense and malleable. So now we have what's called the sublunar sphere, and it's also got the glyph of the elements here too, sort of a universal language. So on the innermost of the sphere here, the earth takes up the core. It is the densest element and the weightiest, or it weighs the most. The next layer is water. It's more malleable than earth, but still heavy. And then the third one is the air sphere. More dealing with sound and smell. It's the terrestrial atmosphere. And then on the outside, we have the fire element. It is supple. It's not as contained. Mostly seen in illuminations and electricity. Everything is a mixture of the elements. The signs, the planets are linked to the elements. The planetary movements are a bridge to the heavens, are connected with the elements themselves. The elements control behavior, disease, climates. It's believed that the elements are the essence of everything. And we get to the four temperaments, the individual complexes, the humors, or the elemental blend, they called it. So we have caloric, which is fire, hot and dry, yellow bile. Sanguine was air, hot and moist, and the blood. Melancholy is the earth, cold and dry, black bile. And phlegmatic was water, cold and moist, phlegm. Here's a picture of the medieval temperaments. So sanguine was optimistic, and caloric was ambitious, and phlegmatic is reserved and consistent, and melancholic was analytical, solitary. Some of the takes on the keywords. So we'll start out here with the caloric. Keywords are inexhaustible, energetic, strong will, optimistic, aggressive, take charge, impatient, demanding. Maybe they can, on the extreme, be a little arrogant and maybe harsh, hostile. They might be more active in trying to get to the top, and they can't sit still. Always wanting to overcome challenges. A key word would be to why climb the mountain? The answer would be because it's there. Now, the sanguine or air temperament, key words are sociable, friendly, maybe a little unfocused, cheerful. They are much more sociable. They enjoy networking. They might enjoy maybe some more gossip than the next person. They don't hold necessarily grudges. Might be maybe a little bit nosy, Just they're just interested in that sociability. Maybe speaking first but thinking later. Usually very popular. One key phrase would be no date on Saturday night would be a disaster. Next is the melancholic temperament. Some key words would be a bit more pessimistic, maybe not as sociable, more studious, rigid, They're interested and they succeed with hard work and perseverance, maybe a little bit of a perfectionist. They're concerned about the bottom line. They might be not have as many friends, not as sociable as the sanguine or the caloric. Might be a little bit more sociable. They might not like being alone, but can't necessarily, solve that problem. Not necessarily. They're kind of an attitude of the glass is half empty, Lastly, we've got the phlegmatic, the water element. Some key words are artistic, reserved, shy, maybe resigned, but there's a lot of depth there. It's just they're not that sociable. Slow and steady wins the race. They might ponder and have a bit of a daydreaming kind of thing. They like to keep the status quo. Very strong qualities for deep friendships, though. Whatever they do, they're doing it deeply. Artistic traits, spiritual traits, that kind of thing. Okay, that's what I'm going to cover for today. This is a big subject, but what you want to do here is we're not none of these are one temper that we all have, or temperament that we have. We're talking about different levels of it and stuff. And the next time I do a video, we're kind of mix some of these temperaments, and then we'll talk about how to decipher your chart and figure out which element dominates your chart. It's really interesting, but I'm going to have to make a second video about that. So I hope this helped. Hope to get you started the building blocks and stuff. Like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Have a good day. See ya.